Expanding double brackets. In the previous part, we looked at the inspection method. Please go back to part 5 if you preferred this method or want to check it again. In part 6, we're going to do the same questions using the column method. I do think it's useful, like I said in part 4, for you to have two methods available to you. So, a reminder of the column method with numbers. You do 5 times 23, so 5 times 3 is 5, carry the 1, 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 1 is 11. Then it's 30, so I put a 0 here because it'll end in 0. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6, and I add those parts together. The key thing is it was 5 times this, then 30 times this. So, let's have a go. Five times this, and then x times this. So 5 times this gives me 5x plus 15. X times this gives me 3x and x squared. And you'll note that I've put the x's in the same column. Previously, units went in the same column, tens did, and then hundreds did. So over here, when I did 5 times this, the 15 went here, the x went here. Then when I did x times these two, x times 3 gave me 3x, which went underneath the 5x. Then x times x gave me x squared, which I put in a separate column. So no x's, single x, x squared. Let's look at another one. Six times this. So 6 times 2 is 12, and 6 times x is 6x. X times 2 is 2x, putting it under the other x, and x times x is x squared. Now, over here, when I did 1 add 9, I got 10 and had to do some carrying. You'll notice that in this method, there is no carrying. Each column will stay in itself. Let's look at how negatives affect it. So minus 2 times this gives me minus 10. Minus 2 times this gives me minus 2x. X times 5 gives me 5x. And x times x gives me x squared. Now, that's minus 10, and that's clearly x squared. Just be careful down the middle here. Just like you should be careful when multiplying by your negative 2. I've got 5 and I've got minus 2, which makes 3x. Now I can see that as minus 2 plus 5. So start on minus 2 and go up the number line 5 places to 3, or I can see it as 5x minus 2, which is 3x. So options are there for you. Now a pair of negatives. That's a 3. So minus 3 times minus 9. Minus 3 times x. X times minus 9. And then x times x. So here, start on the number line on minus 3, go down 9 places to get to minus 12. Now, in terms of working out, this is shorter than the inspection method, but not everyone likes it. So it is up to you. If I see x plus 6 squared, what do I do? Well, what is something squared? What is 3 squared? Well, it's 3 times 3. So what is x plus 6 squared? It's x plus 6 times x plus 6. So let's set that out in our method. 6 times x plus 6, so 6 times 6 is 36, then 6 times x is 6x. X times 6 is another 6x, and x times x is x squared, leaving me with that. Okay. What if the brackets we get are more difficult? Well, this might prove trickier. Let's have a go. So minus 3x times by this. So minus 3x times minus 5. So that makes 15x. And because it's got an x, I put it in the middle column. Minus 3x times 2x. 3 times 2 is 6. If it's negative 6. And x makes x squared. 10 times these two now, so 10 times minus 5 minus 50. Put in the numbers column. 10 times 2x is 20x. So I've got minus 6x squared plus 35x minus 50. Okay. Hopefully by now you're beginning to either like this or want to go to a different method. Let's look at one more. And what happens when you put 3 things in the bracket? I'm going to set it up just the same. Now, when I imagine this with numbers, I imagine now this top one is a 2-digit number, and the bottom one is a 3-digit number. So z times this one first. So that makes 3z, leaving space for a numbers column. And this makes zx. Well, I'll have to make an x column. Y and 3 makes 3y. So I need another column. Y and x. Sorry, that should be here. Y and x makes yx, which I'll put in that column. I could have put zx in the z column. I could have put the two y's in the same column. This is where this method slightly falls down. X and 3 gives me 3x, which I'll put here in the x column. Then x and x gives me x squared. So I get x squared plus 3y plus zx plus yx plus 3x plus 3z. So those can't really be put together. So in this kind of situation, the method is not ideal. Part 6 will look at the grid method to compare now to inspection and to column method for multiplication.